Welcome everyone to the October meeting of the Housing and Economic Development Committee. With me tonight, we've got Sean Berry, Bill Dwyer, myself, Molly Keegan, and Dragon. So we do have quorum. We have 4 members present. First item on the agenda was administrative. I just wanted to double check and see, make sure everybody's been to town hall. This reminder went out back in July, but making sure everybody's sworn in on whatever respective committees that they're on with the town clerk. And the other thing I wanted to mention is because we have a vacancy, remember Amy Fiden had been on and had stepped down, and we did not have a replacement for Amy. And I did receive outreach from Shardul Palmer. Shardul is interested in becoming a committee member. He was actually traveling today and not able to join us this evening, but he did send a formal letter of request to be appointed by the select board. So I just wanted to check and see, if everybody's comfortable with that, or, any concerns about that, or, personally, I think it'd be a great addition.
I love hearing that someone else has interest, you know what I mean? And willingness to engage. I think it's wonderful.
Okay, good.
Likewise.
Okay,
Agreed.
so then the next step on that will be, to get it on a consent agenda for the select board for the appointment. So hopefully Shardul will be joining us at the next meeting.
Great.
Okay. Then next on the agenda, so we, at our last meeting, had invited Ben Lippum, the health inspector, because if you remember, there was a presentation by Chris Bloom, handful of meetings ago, wanting to introduce the concept of density housing but specifically kind of what he referred to as workforce housing. And the idea that if Hadley had an interest in moving away from our current requirements for a building lot, that we might be able to put multiple units together to reduce the cost of construction. And a key kind of obstacle to that in the past as a talking point has been the requirements for the connection to the sewer. And Chris was mentioning to us that, you can conceptually have a pooled septic. So we had reached out to Ben to see if he had any experience with that and if he was willing to talk to us more about that. So he did come in September. Unfortunately, we didn't have a quorum for that, but Ben does have a wealth of knowledge on that front. And I think it's probably, worth hearing what he has to say in case that's anything that we want to support. Or Bill, I think we were talking about, maybe even getting him in front of the planning board if that's anything that your group is interested in hearing more about.
Certainly at some point. We don't have, we have a few other things on our plate at the moment, but that has been an area of concern.
Mhm.
So that we could certainly take that up.
All right, so I'll stay in touch with Ben on that. Tony Maroulis from the university does want to provide us with an update on the new, what they're referring to as an economic development initiative on the part of the university. I believe a new team has been formally formed, as an economic development arm of the university, and Tony's on it. So he sent apologies. He had a conflict for the meeting tonight, but at the November meeting, he would like to give us more of a presentation and explain what their mission statement is effectively and what their next steps are in terms of outreach, specifically to, Amherst, Hadley, and I believe even Sunderland, if not the greater region, some of the things that they would like to see accomplished over a longer period of time. So that will be something that we can talk about. Another good news. So Scott from the Highway Department was informed that Hadley was successful in obtaining a Mass Works grant. I think it's just shy of $400,000. And that was the application that was put in by Guilford Mooring and Scott for us to move to the next phase of feasibility on the, I think they call it the Mill Valley Road Pump Station, and the possibility of turning the direction of that sewage to connect into Amherst. The multiple reasons for that. One is just, currently our sewer system, I mean, it's not brand new. It's not tapped out by any means, but having a plan B is a good idea to get ahead of that, given the cost of construction, because as we've seen with all of the construction projects, I just think that the DPW proposal for a new building, what we're learning about the cost of the dike infrastructure, if we have to repair what we have and improve it or expanding it, I mean, you're in the multi-millions of dollars. So this certainly would be something that would be cost effective for the town to pursue. And also it would allow for expansion of sewer needs should town meeting ever decide that they are interested in making some zoning changes in the mall area in particular, that this Mill Valley Pump Station services. So at any rate, we're not used to getting grants. So we're all pretty excited. And I think it was pretty clear the reason that Hadley did get the award is because it was a collaborative regional effort, which the state very much favors. So at any rate, the next step in that process is at town meeting on October 23rd, there's a warrant article to approve the $38,000 match that Hadley would have to put up in order for us to secure the $400,000 grant for this project. So hopefully, I know something that this committee's discussed and supported in the past, but hopefully you'll be able to attend town meeting and vote. Did anybody have any questions on that particular item?
Nothing's ever free from the state.
What, Sean?
Nothing's ever free from the state. You
Right.
gotta give them 38, so they'll give you 400. It's like the king of Zimbabwe saying he has money for you.
Yeah, they love their matching grants, so. And let's see. Okay, so next is really an update from Bill on the 40R committee, and then any other projects that we have going on.
So I think 40R has been a little quiet. I think they're trying to draft a bylaw, and I'm not sure our PVPC consultant is cracking the whip fast enough here. At the moment, we're tentatively hoping to have something ready for Springtown meeting, but Springtown meeting is in May, and that's actually pretty close for for drafting a major bylaw. So we may be looking at fall 26. We'll see how that plays out. We do have a grant to fund the development of the development process, so that's helpful, but we'll see again how it plays out. We do have a lot of quite a few small projects under review at the moment. We have 4 solar fields that are all raised so that agriculture can be conducted underneath them. They're all in various stages of public hearing. One small 3-lot, very small subdivision off of Bay Road, and the big item that just came in at our last meeting is the Parmar project for senior housing. I think it's 50 units of senior housing at the Village Barn Shops complex.
Mhm.
And as I understand it, they're going to go sort of in the front where there are a variety of small shops. Manny's will not be affected, and I'm not sure if the main building will be affected. And the Hadley Farms Meeting House will be integrated into the new housing as common space, social area. So that's on for hearing in, I think we put them off to the third Tuesday of November. So that will move through the process. Probably, I expect we'll approve it in a couple of meetings, and so that potentially would be groundbreaking in spring of 26. It's a little tight. Maybe they'll be doing demolition, but I think we'll probably go through our part by the end of January.
Just a question for you on that. At the meeting, it sounded like the concern was raised again about the sewer impact, and I'm pretty sure that Scott McCarthy had already responded to that as not being a concern, that we have the capacity.
Yeah, Scott felt that we had the capacity for that. That'll be 50 apartments. So not perhaps a major impact. The one that Barry Roberts is proposing for the Rocky Hill Road and North Maple Street intersection will likewise be about 50 units, I think. And that does require some more engineering, but Scott seemed to feel that there was room for that as well.
And Barry or the developer would be required to make the connection as well, if I recall.
Correct. And he would actually have to install a pump
Yeah.
to get everything uphill to the nearest connection. That in turn would, if the study to connect to Amherst produces results, all the waste from that would go to Amherst as well, in, I guess, sort of a roundabout route. Up Rocky Hill, down North Maple Street, and then back Route 9 and University Drive. The UMass plant's almost within sight of that particular property, but
But it can't go across 116.
Can't go across lots.
Yeah.
But nothing's been filed there. I believe he has filed with the Conservation Commission for determination of wetlands, but no project plans have been filed with the planning.
Okay. Yeah, and Scott was at our select board meeting last night, and the question came up about the existing sewer.
And everybody froze.
Yep, there you go. The existing sewer capacity.
I'm sorry, everybody froze.
Yep. I was just saying,
we
Scott
can
was
hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Scott was at the select board and finance committee meeting last night, and the question was asked specifically about the capacity, and he said that, you know, we're running, I think, just north of 65% capacity. So again, that's always a concern people have, you know, are we going to put in some sort of development, and next thing you know, we have to spend all of this money elsewhere. So people are ahead of that conversation on these projects. Is that
That's it. That's
Pretty
all
much
we
enough?
have in the pipeline. There's that one coffee shop, 7 Brew, that wants to try to get in next to Jiffy Lube, but they have major Conservation Commission issues because of their proximity to the stream. So, Sean, you couldn't have built your building today.
No, not at all. Yeah, the setbacks would be not attainable.
Mhm.
So,
So, that would be a nominal impact on anything, but it is a project before us. It's just hanging out there.
Okay. And then last item was just topics for a future agenda. So I have one that came up. We talked about this a little bit before, when we've been talking to the university, but sadly really haven't been able to make any meaningful progress. And it's a topic that comes up over and over and over again. And I call it the separating fact from fiction project, which rather than having people speak with great conviction about their opinion about economic impacts of various types of development, both on the cost and the revenue side, wouldn't it be great if we had some meaningful data? So somebody in the community reached out a couple of weeks back and just said, hey, not sure if you're aware or not, but there are some organizations out there, obviously for hire, who do that type of work, and sent me information about one in particular that I believe engaged with one of the area communities. But I went out onto their website, and I think it's exactly what we would want to have. I think it'd be great information for not just our committee, but for the planning board to have, to help put things in context, and certainly for the planning needs of the town going forward. So I was going to see if maybe we could get somebody to talk to us about the scope of services. The particular project they did for another town was like $100,000 or north of it. Obviously, we really don't have any money right now, but there might be resources, whether it's the Affordable Housing Trust Fund or CPA, that if we did something on a smaller scale that could give us something to work with. I thought it might be worth at least just hearing them out.
yeah, be worthwhile.
Okay, I'll make contact with them then and see if that's something that we could get. Again, just an information session, obviously no commitment of any kind.
No, yeah, I think that sounds great. Are there ever not that, I mean, all of us are so extended, but are there ever any grants for this kind of stuff, for exploratory stuff?
There are, Dragon, and that's what I was mentioning before. Unfortunately, Hadley, we try to get grants pretty frequently and are often turned down specifically because either they don't feel that there's something, there's enough support for it across to do things, or more commonly, the issue is the fact that we're deemed to be a wealthier community than our tax rate. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
So always something that we're trying to get our hands on. And that's another, I thought, a good reason to talk to, if this is a company that's done it in multiple municipalities. I'm sure they've had to deal with that funding side of things. So, maybe they could educate us on things we're not even thinking about, where we might be able to access those resources. So.
That's great. Thanks for that, Molly. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's actually thanks for people in the community paying attention to this kind of thing that they offer it up. So, yeah, so that was one. Is there any other topic, anybody?
No, I don't have anything new. Our
No, I think-
standard agenda items cover most of what comes up. But that would be helpful too, to get those folks in.
Yeah. The only other thing too, I'd mention is, needless to say, there's a lot going on in town right now, and we've just got to get through town meeting and know what we're working with for a budget, and then, immediately rolling into whatever we're going to need to be dealing with for FY 27's budget cycle. But I think one of the things that's become obvious is there are a lot of people in town who are really, really, really interested in things like development, but don't really know, who to get the information from, or quite frankly, don't necessarily trust where the information they get might be coming from. I continue to be a fan of having forums of some kind. And you might be surprised to hear me say that after the 4 override forums we just had. But I mean, it's really important to have people be able to come together and ask their questions and get information, and not necessarily tie it to a specific vote. So when the housing production plan, we talked about that process, and then Smart Growth kind of picked that up, and then the Smart Growth Committee had the 2 forums, I think, that were reasonably well attended, but I think there's more opportunity for that, and I'm wondering if we can think about a role that our committee might be able to play in that, and just thinking about what the content might be and what that might look like, because again, on a almost daily basis, I hear a lot of assertions being made about things that just aren't accurate, so and it would be good to get as many people's opinions as possible, to avoid the people think that you're trying to, quote unquote, shove a project or your own idea down their throat because they haven't heard about it or had a chance to be at the table. So maybe we could talk more about that at our next meeting. Just put your thinking caps on.
Sure.
Well, I know we were talking about doing a educational series. I think that kind of got blended in with what the 40R committee was doing
Right.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's an outline out there of, but I don't know how much energy there is to deal with it right now.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I think there's a lot we've got to get through, but I also think the sooner we try to do something like that, it gives people, a lot more time to think about it and, get opinions and whatever, without there being some, hard and fast date right in front of them. So,
Right, discussion without a pending looming doom
right.
factor.
Yep.
That would be quite a relief to have right now, like, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Dust off the old outline and maybe just focus on part of it
Mhm.
and see where the discussions lead, and then see if it leads to other forums that we discuss other parts of the outline.
Mhm. Yeah, break it apart. Okay. Anybody have anything else tonight?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All right, motion made by Bill, seconded by Sean. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye.